Most modern depictions of Jesus portray a sanitized, docile figure tailored for Sunday school posters. But the historical record suggests a radical mystic, a man who lived among outcasts and actively challenged the religious hierarchies of the Roman world. His original message was an invitation to follow a path of inner work. Yet, as his movement grew, early political and religious leaders redirected that call, replacing the path of self-discovery with a demand for passive adoration. These massive cathedrals were engineered to dwarf the individual. The towering stone and cold architecture reinforce a specific feeling, that the divine is immense and distant, while the person standing on the floor is small, separate, and in need of a mediator. Under this perspective, the institutional church functions less as a protector of these teachings and more as a containment system. It was built to house a profound truth that, if left unmanaged, would make the entire hierarchy completely obsolete. The shift toward control began in 312 AD with Emperor Constantine. Facing a fracturing empire, he recognized the growing Christian movement could serve as a powerful psychological tool to unify his subjects under a Roman-approved banner. In 325 AD, he convened the Council of Nicaea. This was a political assembly where a body of bishops voted to standardize divine revelation. They established a single official doctrine, determined which ideas were permitted and which were to be suppressed. Dozens of other texts, now known as the Gnostic Gospels, were systematically removed. The word gnosis refers to direct personal knowledge of the divine. Because these scrolls taught anyone could access God without an institution, they were hunted for destruction. While Roman texts focused on external faith, these suppressed writings detailed an internal process. They taught the primary goal is to unearth an inner light. The Roman Empire's concern wasn't theological, it was practical. A population that realizes they possess their own internal authority is a population that cannot be easily managed by an emperor or a state-mandated church. Even with the reach of Roman censorship, specific fragments of the original movement remained hidden within the official Bible, preserved in the very language Jesus used to describe himself. One such fragment is found in the statement, "Before Abraham was, I am." The phrase "I am" carries a specific weight. In the older Hebrew tradition, it was the name of the divine itself, a reference to the unconditioned state of being. By using this name, he demonstrated a specific action. He was showing that when a human consciously uses the phrase "I am," they are not just identifying their body, they are aligning their own awareness with the creative source of the universe. This shifts the focus from worshiping a person to replicating a state of mind. It suggests that the ultimate goal is to directly embody the exact same divine consciousness that Jesus himself demonstrated. The second instruction challenges the physical location of the divine. In the Gospel of Luke, it is recorded that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Rather than a future paradise promised after death, this statement describes an immediate internal reality. It moves the target from a distant location to the person's own consciousness. Defining the kingdom as an internal state completely removes the need for any complex external rituals or towering buildings. It implies that the peace and clarity usually sought in temples are already accessible to anyone who looks inward. When humanity is conditioned to look for God in external places, they remain dependent on the institutions that control those places. Turning that gaze inward breaks that dependency. The third fragment is a specific promise regarding human capability. Greater works than these will you do. The church frames the miracles of Jesus as the unique powers of a God. However, the text presents them as the natural results of a mind that has fully recognized its own divine nature. This statement establishes a baseline for human potential. It suggests that what we currently call miracles are actually just the standard, everyday functions of a fully awakened human being. Accepting the identity of just human serves as a self-imposed limit. It keeps the individual from exploring the very capabilities that Jesus explicitly said they were meant to demonstrate. We are currently witnessing a massive migration away from these centralized religious structures. For the first time in centuries, the grip of institutional dogma is loosening. Rather than a simple loss of faith, this trend suggests that people are reclaiming their own spiritual authority. They are seeking a direct, unmediated connection to the source of their being. Traditional theology often depicts the second coming as an external event, a single savior returning to the physical world from the sky. But another interpretation is currently unfolding. This coming is an internal event, occurring within millions of individual minds simultaneously, as they recognize the divine spark Jesus described. The choice is now shifting to the individual. You can continue to see yourself as a broken being in need of a savior, or you can choose to finally recognize that you are actually a sovereign consciousness having a human experience right now. As centralized religious authority loses its influence, the responsibility for spiritual connection returns to the individual. The only temple left to find is the one you have carried with you all along.